Be the part of the discussion. He'll come. Dr. Deepak Jumani, one of the top doctor in the medical profession. Can I have you on stage, sir? Dr. Harish Binde, if you have come, was told he will be coming, you may join. Dr. Deepak Bhattacharya, please. Deepak Chaturvedi, please. I am so sorry. The physician, endocrinologist, and a diabetologist. Sasank, you can come with the tea, no issue. You can come with the tea. It's a very formal. We are discussing everything in itself. One person from pharma company is going to be included in this panel. I don't know whether he's going to speak his mind or not. Is Mr. Giridhar Balwani, the managing director of Vinayini India Private Limited. Dr. Lad, I think, has not yet come in. You may join in. Please have a seat, sir. Last but not least is one of the top cosmetologists, dermatologists from Bangalore, Dr. Chaitavyanand. Can I please have you there? I will put it down here. Can you please? I think I'll go by the seniority, and I will request Dr. Vaishnav to start, because you are one of the senior most in the profession and you have done so much of surgeries and all, and I think you should start the ball rolling now.
Thank you, Dr. Brahma. Just don't go by my white hair. I'm as young as Shashank here.
I am aware that, yes.
You know, one of the things which came to my mind when Shashank was talking about ethics and the pharma-doctor relationship, which is a norm everywhere. You know, relationships exist even in the United States, which is so well controlled, even in Europe, because the doctors cannot survive without the industry, and the industry cannot survive without the doctors. One thing which is very important and which sort of bothers the mind is if money is changing hands. Is it changing above board or is it changing under the table? And one of the things which is most important in any lecture that I have to give in Mount Sinai or anywhere in the world is, first my financial disclosures come up, and I'm supposed to fill a form which says that if my talk is dependent on that financial incentive, then I'm not qualified to give the talk. Why is it not applicable to India, Shashank?
Okay, Shashank,
any suggestions?
Yes.
You know, because you're going to be API president, so why don't you make it a norm?
I think I am very clear. The Medical Council of I have always have disclosure slides, and so do you. Both of us have disclosure slides. We have, because we are all trained in the US, we've been to UK, so we always have disclosures. Okay, and we have even public disclosures. And I had a bigger problem in life when I was in the US, because my father and mother both were in the pharma industry, and you know, they obviously get ESOPs, so they inherit, which Brahma also knows them. Okay, and they get shares from the industry. So it is very, very tight regulation in the US, but even in India, we are supposed to disclose. So at the API, as well as RSSDI, which is the Research Society for Study of Diabetes, we have made disclosures, but currently our disclosures are voluntary. When I take over next year, I'm going to make it mandatory. But having said that, even if you have disclosures, Sudhir, the problem is not about disclosures. If you disclose a transaction which is transparent, okay, the bigger problem in India is the transactions which are non-transparent. A transparent transaction can be tracked through an electronic system of a financial record of an individual, which is contractually based as a service, which is absolutely in order, and that is completely under the ambit of the law, medical council, and the pharmaceutical council. What is the bigger challenge is what Brahma highlighted, is if there is something which is going to be there below that, that is a challenge. But I agree with you that we need to make disclosures mandatory. Currently disclosures are voluntary. If you look at the amended act of the MCI, disclosures are a must and it should be done. We go for all global meetings all over the world. We always disclose. We always sign forms. In India, we have made it voluntarily. We will make it mandatory in times to come. At least in API, because I'm a president, I can do that. But in other societies like Cardiology Society, you need to do it because there the conflict of interest is much larger. Because you are the saviors of lives. You know, your Dil Ki Dhadkan, your stent companies are there, pacemaker companies are there. You are opening your own Pandora's box. I think you need to.
Point well taken. Now let me put it. Dr. Vaishnav, do you have to counter question him on what he said?
No, I think it is a small baby step forward when he takes forward as the president of API. If official financial disclosures at least come up on the slide, then we know what is the substance of that talk, how important it is, and what messages can go forward.
Right.
In India, unfortunately, a lot of black money exists on which neither Shashank or I have any control.
Yeah, anyway, Aam Aadmi Party is coming in the evening. So
Yes,
we'll have, yeah.
so hopefully that will be weeded out sometime.
Dr. Jumane, could you please add the point of the extension of what Dr. Vaishnav has made?
Shashank, when you disclose that
You are the authority here, yeah.
you disclose that this talk is sponsored by a Falana company or whatever it is, or you are for this company, do you think you portray an image that your talk is prejudiced for that particular product of that company or something like that?
I'm not so sure of that. I think it people in general, the doctors will feel that yes, this is like a sponsored talk. But if you go to any US meeting or a global meeting, it is always that way. So people need to get used to it. So it will take some time. There will be a learning curve. Okay, because there will be a suggestion made when we go for all these congregations. If we put disclosures, people will allege that, this is all, but otherwise also they make a disclosure. And otherwise also they make a point. If there are some overt slides. What actually is more relevant is that the content has to be vetted by an independent committee. Now I, am on the American College of Clinical Endocrinology. 2 years back, I had to give a talk on diabetes in Indians. Okay. All my slides 3 months prior to Philadelphia had to go to a third adjudicating committee which looked at all the content and looked at any commercial bias or intent in the talk apart from my conflict of interest. So that is something which really makes the talk and the science, but I think we are actually going into semantics. We are at one end, people not getting right education, and at the other end, we are getting oversensitive about disclosures. So I think it's a learning curve. Currently, India is in the learning curve, but in times to come, it will happen. And not only it will be just disclosures, Sudhir, it will also be content validation and removal of, there are a lot of off-label uses of medications, for example. And, we have a tendency to say that I have used, in so many patients anecdotally, because that ultimately becomes anecdotal when you disclose it. So obviously, in surgical branches, it's going to get more and more difficult in times to come. So you have to be very, very careful.
Okay, point well taken. Dr. Chaturvedi, would you like to add a few points over here?
Commenting on the medical ethics, Dr. Shashank Joshi has already taken, I think, all the
Let us not ask questions to him. He's not.
I'm not asking anything. I'm just saying that after Dr. Shashank Joshi has spoken so well about the medical ethics, and we are follower of him somehow, directly or indirectly. So
you are the leader.
Is
You are the leader here.
Nothing.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
nothing much is remaining. Now, what sir told that 80% of us don't take bribes. We don't take. We are very clear about it. So 80% still is a majority. So I am very happy to say that, and I am among them, and I'm sure sir is definitely among them. And Dr. Vaishnav, we know that he's among them. Now, the second thing is, as far as the education part is concerned, and it really happens, sir. When I come to RSSDI, when I come to ESICON, and people will say that, oh, who has sponsored you? Truly, no one sponsors me, but it happens. Somehow it has been projected like that way, and thanks to media and thanks to people from the media who have, I think, projected sort of a, what do you call as a mountain out of a,
Right.
what do you call it? Out of a mole, something like that. There are much more important points to be discussed rather than about the cut practice. One more, can I take?
Yes, please. Go
Can I
ahead.
take
Please
just
go ahead.
30
Please
more
go ahead.
seconds?
We have time, yeah, please go ahead.
My request is that don't bind our hands. Let us have the freedom of writing the prescription. Let us have that. See, I am in India, like sir, like he didn't stay back in US. I didn't stay back in US. I'm in India because I love India. I love the Indian system of medicine that I have freedom of writing the prescription. No one is controlling my prescription. So I think if that freedom remains, medical ethics will automatically come in.
Okay, Giridhar, can I ask a very good question to you before you could answer that one? You have come to India in a big way. You are launching a new product of baskets. I think you're investing somewhere around 200 crores, right? If I'm not mistaken. You are going to win the hearts of the doctors. Supposing any of the doctors promise to give you 10 lakhs, prescription, would you buy from them? Honest answer, direct answer.
Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear it properly because
No.
you were not
What
very
am-
clear. Brahma, you need to be very clear. Don't put him so much in a box.
No,
But-
I'm not.
but-
I have
but-
to put in. I have to be unclear in some extent so that it makes
No,
them clear
because it
again.
was not clear. That's why I asked you again.
As a pharma company, you are launching a new product basket, and you definitely would like to get endorsement from the doctors because doctors are the ultimate masters when they prescribe the medicines. So, would you employ the tactics of giving some money to the doctors, giving them a target? Give me 10 lakhs prescription, I'll give you this.
I just want to say two things. There is a regulation in India which was introduced 4 years ago, Article 6.8.
Will you do this? I'm asking.
Article 6.8 says that the doctors cannot accept any of this. No doctor will say in a public platform.
Back channel they can, I think.
Nobody accepts openly that yes, I'm taking money for this. The same answer for me. If my company, a doctor comes and says, give me money, obvious answer is no, because we are a company which all records are, I mean, it's an international
As
company,
you told,
everything is,
you're maintaining ethics. Yeah, I don't know.
and everything has to be accounted for. I mean, I can't generate cash. So the point I want to address again to Dr. Joshi, sorry, is that you said in your speech, you used two terms which are still in my mind. You said doctors are victims. We are under the, and the second point you said, we are under the vice-like grip of the pharmaceutical industry. I said, where are the doctors? Are they not reading 6.8 article in the MCI regulations? What about them? They say in India, tali do hath se bachti.
Okay, we'll open up the discussion.
I know I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. Number one, no doctor knows any of these medical council laws. We studied in second MBBS forensic medicine. The MCI Act is not even present there, so most doctors don't even know what a medical council act is. Okay, the industry is quite aware because you are a listed company, you are taking venture funds, you might be highly sensitive to it. But I am talking what I spoke is because I lead 3 associations which are reasonably large, and I'm going to lead the 4th one, which is the second largest medical association of India, on strong survey and audits which we have done over last 15 years on perceptions. See, it's all about perception. The perception is that and I think Deepak highlighted this point very well when he comes to an RSSD and all. Everybody will say, "Tu kaun se group mein aaya?" Okay, kiske group mein aaya? Many of us are not on any group. Okay, so the point is that there is a very huge pressure of the industry because where are the practicing doctors learning from? They are learning from directly, indirectly from the industry. So there has to be some amount of direct or indirect measures of a communication. This has been over vigilantized by the government or regulators, and they have put us too much into scrutiny. Okay, I think we are over looking into this a little too much. But I still maintain that doctors are victims because they don't have time. If they had the time, then they don't have practice. People who don't have practice don't, the industry doesn't look at them. You have the 80-20 formula. One of your marketing people only told me 80-20, 80% of business given by 20. Those 20% of the doctors were surveyed by a very leading agency. I wouldn't name them. Okay, and they found out very clearly they have absolutely no time. They are totally in the industry's hands. And industry has a vice-like grip on them. They are the top KOLs. The industry talk. I can share top vice presidents of companies, multinationals and Indian included. All 100 are under our label. They are on our speaker bureau. They are on our speaker panel. So I completely am willing to take you upfront on this, that they may have read any regulation, but directly or indirectly, they are influenced, stroke, are on their indirect or direct payroll.
Okay, let me widen up the topic, but let me go to the other panelist who has not spoken. Chaitra, you are one of the top leading cosmetic dermatologists in Bangalore. You have made waves in Bangalore. So many companies come to visit you. What is that you look into a derma company or skincare company that you endorse the products?
So first, we don't ever endorse a product. The thing is, we will use a product based on their trials, their research, and the data that they have, which shows the efficacy of the product. So price sensitivity. So I run a chain of clinics. So in certain centers, price is not a problem. In certain centers in the peripheral network, price is an option. So we have to look at all of these factors. So it's efficacy and price point that's the deciding factor for us. It's not the SOPs that they offer. But it's true, I mean, we get offered SOPs, but that's the industry that there is today. Pharma people are going to offer SOPs. It's up to the doctor if they want to accept it or not. And like talking about where the doctors were talking about, when we have Dermacon, which is our national dermatology conference, it's understood that every doctor, not the ones who are talking, but the doctors who are attending, they're all sponsored by pharma companies. And it's understood, but it's part of education. A lot of doctors are young doctors. They can't afford to go there. They go there. So I think it's really the physician's perception.
I think you got the answer. I think it's a very quite good point.
But it's important to know it's against the law.
Yes, right.
Definitely.
Vaishnav, would you like to make a point? I'll come back to yes.
To my mind, pardon me, whether you have attended your recent national conference, most of these doctors who are sponsored travel with their family, with their children. There is a holiday which is lined up. They are there out in the pharma stalls, grabbing the pharma bags rather than attending the scientific conference for which they are sponsored.
Sudhir, 14 years back, I and Dr. Samar Banerjee from Calcutta did this survey. Okay, and this survey is now published also in newspapers, in media, and Brahma knows this very well. Only 20% of, and in API we have 8 or 10 halls. So we did a survey in Calcutta 14 years back. Only 20% of those 8,000 doctors attended from one hall to another hall. The average of the age of those doctors were below 30 or above 60. Okay, and no, this is a survey officially. We have published it. I will give you a full copy of it. It's very interesting read. Then we term them as hallmarks. Only 20%, going from one hall to another hall. 40% of the doctors were on exhibition booths. They never were inside the halls attending the scientific sessions. We called them stalwarts. Okay. And this is again published. We have published this. And another 40% of the doctors were neither in the hall nor in the stall. Okay, they were doing sightseeing or drama.